Okay, we are live. I gotta join the chat.
We are live. Join the chat. Get in here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Hack Shack Studios. This is Hacks Chat, where we chat, and we are the hacks. So, I'm RT Bear. With me is Taylor Grasso.
Hello.
And we just got back from Alita, Battle Angel, the motion picture. And I don't know. Do we want to just spill the beans? Are we? Is this a review? Should we tease this, or should we just come right out and say that
it's a review? I would say. Do we need a few days to do like a true review, or is this going to be our our initial impassioned review?
I don't know. I can't even hold back. I really enjoyed this darn movie. I was going to try to be coy with this and not come right out and say, but I really enjoyed the heck out of this movie. And what do you think?
It's kind of funny. We've been talking about this movie for a while now. I think it was months ago when we first did the initial verses. I didn't expect it to be as good as it actually turned out to be. Like, it was very good, but it was actually above average, I think.
It was above good. I thought it was great. It's the best movie I've seen in a long, long time. I know that critics haven't been very kind to this, and a movie-going audience haven't been, so I think that's going to be our main topic of discussion, is that we were overwhelmingly floored by this movie, and we went with my daughter as well, so it was the three of us, and we all just loved the heck out of this movie. This is one of the best, comic book action-adventure movies I've seen in a long, long time, and I think it has a lot of general public appeal, too. I just don't know if it's the marketing or the idea that she has the Gollum eyes, like the big artificial looking eyes, or I don't know, but I guess that's what we're going to talk about, right?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, I think I misjudged this movie early on because we were talking about it earlier. The trailer is not cut very well. Like, when you see the movie, it becomes very apparent, and I guess they didn't want to give too much away, but I thought the trailer was cut very poorly, now having seen the movie. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, there are scenes when she's fighting those big... there's going to be some spoilers in here, you guys, so if you haven't seen the movie, then you might not want to listen to too much more of this, but there is, what do they go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right?
Yeah.
We form this.
If you don't want to hear any spoilers, now's your chance to skip. But we give this movie. Do you give this a thumbs up, Art?
Oh, I give this a thumbs up. But what I was going to say about the trailer, if they just, when she's battling those hunter killers and she's slicing them up when she first gets the knife and uses it, oh my gosh, if there was just a couple of those scenes in the trailer, I think that would have sold it. Those things were visually amazing looking.
Yeah, spoiler territory officially now.
Yes. Yeah,
it was. It's really where the movie shines, and it's kind of a shame that the trailer really didn't put any of those scenes in a very good light. And I think it's one of the stronger parts of the movie. If you guys don't know, I know a couple of you are in here, and I will read your chats in a second. But Art has a past with the anime. I read the manga casually, but you read like all of them, right?
Yeah, like 20 years ago. I'm kind of re-experiencing them now. I have them all here, and I was kind of looking them over. And the movie follows the books really, really closely. The beauty of the movie is how there's several chapters and several books that they were able to connect in a more organic way, in a quicker way in the movie, because it's a 2-hour movie, so they don't have quite as much time as, a serialized comic book to pursue and to, take time to establish characters. So they did a really good job of connecting all the different, adventures, like her in the arena stuff, in the rollerball type arena, her origin story, the city sky, or what is it, Skied City, I guess, and then the hunter-killer aspects of it, and then the boyfriend, the Hugo stuff. They tied all that together, and then even, Ido's relationship with his wife. I don't remember it being a wife relationship in the comic, but it might have been. But there definitely was a relationship in the comic between those two. That was quite interesting. I thought from a comic book standpoint, a fan of the comic book, that they kind of did a reverse of Ido's reveal that he was part of the Sky City. Is in the comic book, he definitely has the dot on his forehead. So you know all along in the story that he was from that place. And in the movie, they do it reverse, where you don't know, but I think you kind of start figuring it out. So then there's a reveal later in the movie that, he was from that place, and that I guess he cut that gem out of his forehead or whatever it was. So, I thought it was really faithful to the comic book. I was really amazed at how they were able to bring all those different elements together. Usually, like when they adapt, like that John Carter from Mars and stuff, when they adapt like from different novels and things like that, it usually doesn't have a good, complete narrative. It usually feels a little disjointed. But this movie felt really, really connected. The themes of it, all the characters, and the overall storyline, I thought it was flawless, to be honest. I thought it was really, for what this is, a little robot girl that is trying to find her higher purpose, I thought it was brilliantly done.
So keep in mind, this is a review from the point of view of a person who is a fan of the source material, and not like a normie review of somebody who maybe isn't familiar with the source material, because usually bad anime adaptations are loved by normies. And this is a movie that, like I said, Art's a fan of this, knows a lot about it, and it was a very good movie from your point of view, right? So you would give the approval based on the source material.
And I like how they just kind of tease like Ido's origin. Like, is he a good or bad guy? He's kind of that shadow character, and he has the big trench coat. And when he pulls out the hammer spike thing, his weapon, his fighting weapon, I almost geeked out. Like, it was really, really cool, because I always thought that was one of the neater aspects in the comic book. My daughter was saying that it was a little weird. It wasn't a great weapon, because it really only has, if you can't put the person down in one fatal blow, then it would be hard to kind of fight with it in any kind of length. But so when they had to choreograph these fight scenes, they were a little odd, because it's such a big, unwieldy kind of weapon. And so she said it didn't work that well for her. But coming from the comic book, the comic book is stilled images, so there's just like, set up, and then he just impales the guy, with the weapon. So there isn't like a choreographed fight scene that goes along with it per se. So it does work a lot better in the comic book.
Personally, I think the inclusion was important because the actor and the costuming doesn't bear a lot of resemblance to the original character, and it was one of the few things that's iconic about the character that was kept intact.
The trench coat, the hat, the sickle weapon. So
having the hammer really helped. We got an unrelated super chat from Pope Fire, who says, Starfire is left-handed, found out today. I'm glad you found out.
Oh, wait. I think she sent that. Did George Perez actually, did you contact him, or did you find an article where he comes out and says that, Starfire is left-handed?
I believe George Perez said it.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got.
Man, she is tenacious, is she not?
I know. Dennis says, I loved Alita. Let's see. A couple people. That's why we gave you guys spoiler warnings. Some people are like, oh, spoilers. And they're taken off. Dennis says, I saw previews for over a year and thought it was delayed because it was bad. Completely the opposite. Alita was such a captivating, likable character.
Yeah, I that's the main reason we wanted to do this review. Is if anybody's on the fence, and I know there's spoilers here, but if there's anybody on the fence and they're still here, go see this movie. If you're a comic book fan, it is really, really good. And Rotten Tomatoes, I think, did a disservice. I think the reviews did a disservice to this movie. And I heard it's not doing that well domestically. They're hoping that China will save this movie as far as box office revenue, but it doesn't. I don't feel it deserves this kind of treatment. I think that it's a great movie. It deserves, as much as Marvel movies make, I think,
Yeah, definitely go out and support this movie. I really, really hope, because there's a teaser at the end that this might be there might be a continuation, and there's rumors that it was supposed to be a 3-movie kind of deal. So I really hope that you guys, if you want to see something like that, you go out and support this just to help seal the deal that happens. Because I think it'd be a shame if we didn't get to see the end of this story cinematically.
Yeah, because she's kind of like a Conan character. What are some of the other ones that kind of roam around?
A reluctant hero type.
Yeah, go on adventures. Just, so she's kind of trying to figure out. But you know what? The thing in the movie, they don't clearly say, well, no, they do. Like in the book, I don't remember them clearly saying what she was and what her purpose was that quickly on. But in this movie, they do. So I don't know, the further adventure isn't going to be her trying to discover who she is or what she's about, because they definitely say that in this movie. But I think the ongoing storyline is that she wants to take down the big bad, right? Which is Edward Norton. Yeah,
as they reveal at the end. Somebody said, and I wanted to read this, and now I lost your comment. Oh, here we go. Simon Sim says, it's been frowned upon by the media because it's not PC nor SJW influence. The weird thing about it, though, is there's not really anything not PC about it. Like, there's not really... The movie's not a controversial movie in any real way. And you would think SJWs would love it because there is diversity in it, but it doesn't feel forced or anything. It's just kind of a natural, normal movie.
Yeah, they just set up the world. It's very matter of fact. Some of the characters, some of the female characters are good. Some of them are bad. Some of them are gray area, as is the male characters too. There's good, there's bad, and then there's gray area.
There's not really anything I don't think anybody could jump on SJW-wise and try to hurt this movie. The lead is very good. The woman who, I guess she is the actor, but I always say like the mocap actress because it's not her appearance, was very good. And I think the characterization as far as like a good female lead was there. She wasn't like a plucky a-hole like a lot of female action leads are now.
Yeah. I mean, she was definitely a character that you wanted to cheer for. Like you saw her, basically be born and kind of find her truer calling. So it's like a coming of age origin story for this character, and on top of that, there's humor in it too. Like it's not like har like obviously jokey, but there is humor in the movie too. I think it's just a great balance of action, adventure, a good plot, cool sci-fi. There's some humor involved. The art direction I thought was fantastic. The only thing I still don't like, and I'm sorry, is the eyes. I think it was a bold choice, but I think it's kind of the way Hollywood does these things. Like there's just something, what do you call it? There's a
uncanny valley.
Yeah, uncanny valley about it.
Definitely.
And I don't know if it was that necessary. Like I don't know if they had to do her as a complete CG face.
The actress is cute. I think they could have just used the normal actress personally.
Yeah, and the eyes just at times it wins you over, but there are moments where you just kind of, at least for me, was like it looks a little artificial.
Yeah, we talked about at lunch that maybe if they were just a fraction smaller, it'd be less Gollum-y.
Yeah.
And there's a point in the movie I think we both noted where she wakes up and you don't see any other characters in the room. There's no other human characters in the room. And it looks like just, you're very aware that everything's fully animated. It kind of was reminiscent of that old Final Fantasy movie. Like, if somebody walked into that point of the movie, I think they would assume it's the fully animated movie until one of the actors walked into the room.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. But overall, the art direction, when she walks out on the street for the first time, and I thought for sure they were going to, it's a post-apocalyptic kind of story, and I thought for sure they were going to make that world that she lives in really, really bleak. And there was aspects of that, but when she goes out, you see it through her eyes first and foremost. You don't see it through Ido's eyes. You don't see it through Hugo's eyes. You don't see it through any of those characters' eyes. You see it through her eyes. So there seems like there's wonderment. There seems like it's not necessarily a bad place to be.
Because she's experiencing it for the first time along with the audience.
So they let you see that there is good in that world. You know, there's fruit, there's chocolate, there's there's kind people or somewhat kind people.
There's kids playing games. Life is just kind of going on there.
And for the most part, that little street gang, they kind of accept her. They like her. They have a little bit of a nefarious, like I guess side jobs or whatever. But it is kind of that type of world too. Like if you were raised in that environment, you might. That's probably what you would do to make ends meet. They're kind of what do they call those?
Street kids.
But they're like scrounging, where they forage and they find parts and stuff like that. And then you find out that Hugo and his gang aren't necessarily getting these parts through altruistic, good, legit ways. They're kind of getting them in bad, negative ways. It's hard not to give spoilers. But yeah, it's such a great adaptation of the comics, and you like the rollerball aspects and the origin. They're not in the same book. Like a lot of these elements that are in the movie, they're not in the same books. And so they managed to bring a lot of different elements of the different graphic novels together in one really great coherent story. Christoph Waltz, oh my gosh, man, as like the father type character, the way he was looking out after her wasn't overly doty, but it was enough that it was heart-wrenching. And there was a scene, being a father, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but where he brings her the skates towards the end. Yeah. And they detach from her. She's a robot, which is cool. So they detach from her. Kind of like, what were those dolls Amanda had? They were
I never played with dolls, so don't ask me.
Bratz? Because like the Bratz dolls, they didn't have feet, and you put the shoes on them. The shoes were the feet.
Really?
So you actually pull the foot off at the ankle.
That's like so weird.
You actually dismantle the doll and plug new shoes in, but it's the shoe and the foot. So it just was kind of like a Bratz doll thing where he pulls her feet off and then just kind of plugs these skate feet in.
This movie's not for normies.
And it was super cool. I was like, yeah, that is really cool, because it's a cool dad beat, but also those skates in the comic were so cool to me, and it was neat because I don't think he gives them to her in the comic. I don't really remember, but it was definitely not like that heartwarming or touching of a moment in the comic book.
Yeah, he and the lead actress have really, really good chemistry together. It's a really well-paced movie, like you were saying. It kind of covers a lot of grounds if you're a fan of the source material, and it doesn't feel like condensed storytelling. It all feels very, very natural. It's paced really well. There was something we might get into if we have some time in some of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, but somebody was saying that the pacing was weird. I actually was really impressed by the pacing right away. It's one of the first things I think we commented on when we got out of the theater in a positive way.
Yeah, it was amazingly paced. And also, it's weird because there was a no guns thing in the story.
Yeah, is that in the manga?
No, there are guns, but I'm looking at some of the stuff now. I think... No, it's in the city, because they go to like a Badlands, like a wasteland area, and I know that they have guns, and there's also tanks and things that have some heavy firepower. Wait a minute, there were guns in this story too, but they were illegal, I guess. They were
just those enforcers, I think, had it, right?
The hunter-killers had them.
Who else had them? I thought they all had blades.
The hunter-killer... because she took it off that one hunter killer.
Oh, that's what I mean.
That whole Terminator type.
The big drone things had them, but that was about it.
Well, the Gatling gun, yeah.
Because they were like, I guess they're allowed. Let's see. Simon Sim says, I read the manga in the 90s and recently ordered the new deluxe box set plus the second series, The Last Order. I just saw that. I looked it up on the way over here. It looked kind of interesting.
And I thought it was a bold choice. I'm not gonna say the ending, but I was really, really surprised for a Hollywood movie to end it the way they did. And if you're a fan of the source material, it fits perfectly, and it's a great lead into another story arc. For this battle angel to go on to her next story arc, because she really is a character that travels and experiences different parts of this world. I don't remember. Do you remember, Taylor, the alien spacecraft? Do you remember that in the books?
I actually did not remember that at all, and I didn't read all of them, but I don't remember that being the origin story of her getting that body. But I don't remember how she got it in the original.
And the sword was... I don't remember the sword, like, syncing up with her and all that.
I don't either. Let me see what you guys are talking about here. P-Money says, hey, everyone. Working. I can't stay, but congrats on the success of Oodles. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks to everybody. This movie so derailed everything. It's so overwhelmingly cool. Yeah. So... We lit it up yesterday. We sold like over 50 books yesterday. I don't know where it's at right now, but we're still going strong. So thank you to everybody who's purchased a book, and we will be getting those out to you guys next month.
Yeah, so go ahead and check out. The link will be in the description for Oodles, which is, of course, in the in-demand store on our Black and White Indiegogo.
Do you want to get into some of the Rotten Tomatoes and some of the reviews, or
let's.
We have the trailer too. Let's maybe give them context with the trailer.
Now the trailer's not going to have any sound, but I don't know what cut of the trailer this is, because this looks like a different cut to me than anyone I saw on TV.
Oh, see, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen this. Those are the scenes they need to sell the movie.
Because I don't remember any of this from the ones I saw on TV at all.
Oh, yes.
This is so much better.
This helps.
So much better.
Yeah, I thought the nerve ending thing and all that stuff was cool that she could feel.
Yeah, it's the suit, or I guess it's her body, it's not a suit, is pretty cool. Although, I don't know about you, but we talked about this at lunch. I cannot unsee the resemblance of this CGI character to that stupid Zootopia bunny. Their faces look so similar to me.
Get the teeth too. Look at that art direction; it's pretty awesome. See, this is where they all kind of meet up at the same time when she first goes out. Or no, that's the second time she goes out and she sees the mother type character.
But it is like, it's very close knit and it all works in a very organic way.
And they set it up in a very quick and in a short period of time.
Yeah, they do. There's the ship.
See, there's the ship. I don't remember that. That underwater stuff was really good.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty cool. See, they're really leading with James Cameron on this. And I didn't even know who directed it because of that. Like, I knew that he didn't direct it, but since they led with him so much, it was the only name I remembered.
Yeah.
Being associated.
Yeah, they did a great job. That guy was a punk.
He was. He was pretty cool, though. That was one of my favorite scenes.
Wow,
I just spoiled it.
See, come on, people. Go see this movie. Look, I did not see this trailer yet.
This one's almost showing too much,
this
actually.
Like spoiler alerts, yeah.
I'm actually glad I didn't see this, but...
Similar. Look at that suit. It's pretty cool.
Really cool. She definitely looks a little...
Oh, see? Oh, wait. They morphed it into something else.
Yeah,
did you see
did.
That?
They spliced two different scenes.
Yeah. Because that, oh my god. Yeah, they're going back and forth.
You guys, the action in this movie is awesome. That was a cool cut here.
You know what? I'm going to go see the movie again. I'm going to go see the movie again after that.
I would like to see it again too, actually. Okay, so we got
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. apparently said it was rotten, but it's got a certified fresh among
Wait, where is it at
viewers.
now? Because I looked at this the day it came out, and it was 90. They were at 90 something.
So
they're still okay. The audience is still high, and the tomato meter, I think, is
mid-ground, I guess.
Yeah. So it's about the same as it was the other day when I looked at it.
So the average is a 6 out of 10 among the reviewers. I'll read just a couple of them because they were kind of obnoxious.
But just to back up, what were they thinking the movie was going to be? Like, I think when you review these movies, I mean, you review it as a movie. You know, obviously it is a movie, but I think you have to, as a reviewer, understand the source material a little bit before you review it. You know, because you have to have context. You can't just review a movie and then relate it to every other movie that's out there. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have some kind of context. And I think sometimes these guys review these movies without understanding some of the source material.
You review it based on what it is. Don't hold up like an action movie based on an anime to some kind of weird standard that it's not gonna reach. You gotta enjoy it for what it is and not have expectations of something else.
Yeah.
So somebody said, it's goofy as hell and borderline inexcusable at times, but also kind of glorious. I don't really know what that means. Like, borderline inexcusable. Like, it's pretty reeled back in comparison to the source material in a lot of ways.
Well, I think sometimes that's what I mean about the source material. You got to understand the source material. A lot of these comic book things are, and these are not my words. These are just kind of normie words. They're kind of silly in concept. So I understand sometimes there's a translation to, like you say, Taylor, normies. But yeah, I think you have to filter it through those things. You have to filter it through that it is a comic book movie. You know what I mean? You can't.
This old man was never going to like it. Let's be clear.
This Joe Morgenstein is that?
He doesn't look like somebody who would enjoy this ever.
But yet he did, right?
No, he didn't give it a fresh.
He said, I loved watching the sci-fi
But he gave
spectacle.
it a little splat. The tomatoes are the positive, I think.
I thought the tomatoes were the bad.
No, the tomatoes are the fresh. The splattery things are the bad, I think. Let's see.
Oh, you're right.
I think so.
Well, the splattery is on the 50, yeah.
Why is it green? Because I loved watching the sci-fi spectacle's moving parts. I just couldn't get past its brain. Okay, I'm sorry. The brain was not that insane. I haven't read that manga since I was probably like 12, and I never I didn't read as much as you did, and I didn't have any problem following the story.
Is he talking about the literal reveal? I don't want to spoil anything. Is he talking about the literal reveal?
I don't think so. I think
so. He's talking about the intellect of the thing, right?
Yeah, but it could be.
I couldn't get past its brain. What? That it's just a simple, straightforward, chick that kicks robots' butts? Like, that's basically the story.
Ray Thulu says, if critics knew what they were talking about, they'd be creators.
Yeah. That's the Wall Street Journal.
Matthew from Salon.com says...
Salon?
Attending the movie should not come with homework assignments, and if a film only works for you to study its backstory in advance, there's something terribly wrong. Well, first of all, you stole that quote from YMS, but second of all, it doesn't really apply here.
And it's not even a true statement. I think you can get exactly what the story is.
You don't need homework to understand the story.
You don't need homework. It's not... I mean, that guy just said you can get past his brain, like made it seem like it's not that heady. Like,
yeah,
it's not a heady concept. It's a pretty straightforward concept. A girl is reborn, and she's kind of becoming of age, and so she's finding out her true purpose in life. And then she's embracing that true purpose while life happens around her. Boyfriends, dad issues, parental stuff, and then the world in general, where she fits into the world and all those things. It's a pretty universal theme, I think. It's not Mission Impossible. It's
no weirder than like understanding Mad Max or something. It's not that deep. Yeah. Let's see.
Richard Roper.
And then this guy also wanted the opposite, because he says, Alita feels too thin despite this sort of heavy-hitting talent, so he thought it wasn't heady enough.
Okay.
But who did you want to read? Richard Roper?
Yeah.
All right, he's a top critic. Basically, we're talking about a lot of human heads doing a lot of insulting and quipping and grunting and groaning while atop all manner of fighting cyborg bodies. You described everything I liked about it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And also, that's
not a review.
That's a part of the movie. That's just one part of the movie. It's like, it had a blue sky and brown, streets. The buildings were all in decay.
You could read this talking about Batman. Basically, we're talking about a guy in a bat suit fighting people.
He had a cape.
I don't know. I guess that's not really a review, first of all. That's more just a summary of a part of the movie.
It's an observation.
Oh, here we go. So Sebastian liked it.
Look at Sebastian.
Sebastian
Look at
looks nice. I'd hang out with him.
He's well-centered.
It shows respect towards its source of inspiration, changing small details, but preserving the tone, story, and themes of the original product.
Yes. See?
Perfect.
See? That's it.
See, Simon knows.
See, that if I was more eloquent, that's exactly what I would have said.
We're going to post that in the description. And Gary's is good. Rather than an objectified victim, Alita has agency more often than not. The movie has enough go-for-broke energy to match her determination.
Yes.
Good job, Dark Horizons. Yeah, so... Oh, here's a good one. Look at this guy. He has his hand on his chin like he's posing for the back of like a novel. Listless, futuristic mumbo-jumbo without a single interesting character. Building up to a conclusion that's really just set up for the next film. Okay.
Robert Rodriguez once again presents an irregular film that entertains at times, but is an empty spectacular.
Okay. So
it's an empty spectacular. Like, isn't that a contradiction?
I mean,
it's a spectacular. Don't you usually think if it's a spectacular,
it's empty.
It's cool.
It's not deep enough. So the actual audiences liked it, I guess. So it was, let's see, because there's an actual...
So curse you, Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes gave... I wanted to see if this movie was in trouble, because as we were talking about earlier, weekend box office results in Alita barely wins battle. Okay, I see they were toying with that for a while. With $34.3 million on historically weak weekend. James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez might not win the war. However, plus... Rebel Wilson. I'm sorry, Eric Childress. This isn't the best way to summarize. Yeah. So I guess it's losing money, apparently.
Well, 34 isn't... I mean, it's not a bad opening weekend, but you can imagine how much money went into making this movie.
Yeah. The film wisely avoided the battle against Aquaman and Mary Poppins. Really? This is going to compete with Mary Poppins? Over the end of 2018, it had a $170 million budget, and it currently stands at 94. So it's not like the worst start in the world, but it's not
But
great.
These movies, if they don't get it on their opening weekend, they really, you know what I mean? It's going to be hard for them to recoup their money. So I want this movie to do well, or at least well enough for a sequel, a follow-up.
Dragon says, do they realize they're insulting like all of Japan considering how popular the series is?
Yeah.
And Simeon, I'll go to this because I think this was this is what you were talking about earlier, how they think possibly the tide could turn when it moves over to China.
Yeah.
Let me see. James says Roper probably has a lot of experience with watching porn.
Well, I don't know about that.
I mean, I can't really assert that from him not liking this, but Aquaman versus Mary Poppins sounds like a funny fight, says Draken.
It could be a quick fight, too.
Let's see. Following a starry Beijing premiere hosted by James Cameron, buzz in the Middle Kingdom for the big budget what is with these titles? Okay, let's see. The financial fate of James Cameron's produced. Again, they're leading with James Cameron.
He wrote it, too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense then. Faces a crucial test this weekend opening in China. There are several reasons to be at least cautiously optimistic for a sizable showing for the 21st Century Fox pick in the Middle Kingdom. But as ever, in the most unpredictable of territories, how big remains to be seen. Okay, so they think that basically it's going to get favor in China because Avatar made $204 million back from the Chinese office.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy. And apparently Titanic made $145 million in China alone, which is insane. So he's probably expecting about the same return. Let's see. 6-day debut of Alita made them $42.3 million. Let's see. It's 17 million. Okay, 94. So they have an early foreign total of 94. So they already did make the money back, it sounds like. It just hasn't really gotten...
Whoa.
Oh, no.
No, it's 170. Yeah.
Darn it.
And that's what they said, that's without the advertising budget. So usually advertising budgets are half the budget of the movie. So there's at least another, I don't know, $60 million invested in the advertising. So they've paid off their advertising budget.
So Fox insiders say the film needs to do at least $350 million at the global box office to break even. But financial sources put the figure at $450 million to $500 million.
God, can you imagine?
That's crazy.
You know, we're making black and white, and we're thinking, oh, this is what we need to live. You know, this is what we need to recoup so we can exist. These guys need to make $450 to $500 million just to show a profit. That's insane.
The pressure is on, man. That's absolutely... See, this is why you guys... If you guys are thinking about going to see this movie, go do it, because I think it's well worth it.
If you guys like comic books, which you do, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this, yeah, go see this movie. I know a lot of the Comicsgate guys are really promoting the movie, and now we're too as well. So this movie is really, really good. Just in, as that one reviewer says, spectacle alone, you guys are going to get your money's worth.
Let's see. They still have China and Japan, says Vale Ned. And Nick says, oh, you guys are talking about... they think that Mary Poppins would beat Aquaman in a battle. Dennis says, RT Bear, Alita will make a profit, at least a few million. And Ray says, I think it'll be huge in East Asia.
I hope. I really hope. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good. It really is. I'm gonna go see this movie again. Look at this art direction. It's insane.
Nick says, those eyes are just a tad too weird for me. You get used to them, actually.
Yeah, it will. The movie will force you to see that character in a different light. You just start overlooking the eyes because the story and the character is really, really compelling.
Let's see. Simeon says, my mother, who is in her 70s and a normie as they come, didn't know anything about the movie but had no trouble following it and liked it.
Yeah, it's basically a girl coming of age type story. You know, she falls in love with her first crush. She's trying to find her place in the world. Her and her father are setting new boundaries, you know, because she's not a child anymore. And yeah, I think it's pretty universal. I think they tap into some universal themes.
Definitely. It's everything's really laid out in the movie really, really well early on. So it's really not hard to see where things are going. Dennis says, and I think this is a good point, SJWs hate this movie because Alita embodies her line, I do not stand by in the presence of evil. Alita is pure goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love their gray area characters.
And I always love characters that inspire other characters. Like, you know how in Superman they go, oh, it's a source of inspiration or hope, you know, the S. But they don't really show Superman ever inspire anybody in the movie. Well, Alita actually inspires people in the movie. She inspires Hugo to wanted to be a better, you know, person. She inspires the mother figure. I can't remember the character's name.
I can't remember her name either.
She inspires her. She inspires that one hunter killer with the dogs.
Yeah, everybody that she kind of interacts with, she affects in some profound way.
Not everybody, but there's enough that she does inspire people. to be better or to try to do better in life. So,
I mean, if they're evil, they still get profoundly affected because most of them die. So it's a pretty cool movie. It's but yeah, you guys are right about the lead, and I think that's why she's a very compelling character to follow, and not a character that's really that common in cinema right now. What would you say? Because this movie is rated, I think, PG-13. What do you think would be like the ideal age for this? Because I think I would have been all over this movie as a teenager.
Yeah, I wouldn't bring young kids to the movie because I think some of the subject matter... Excuse me, I'm going to take a swig.
There was a toddler in the movie theater when we were seeing it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And there was a part where I was like, uh-oh, somebody brought a toddler. Where, spoiler alert, this woman's about to get murdered. And all they show is her turning and gasping and like a blade. And then it was silence. You can just hear this little voice. You're like, what happened? In the audience. I was like, uh-oh, somebody brought a child.
Yeah. I wouldn't bring young kids, but older kids definitely. If I was 12, 13, well, maybe 10 and up, and I saw this movie, it would have changed my existence.
Oh, yeah.
This would have been my Star Wars, because it's pretty amazing.
It really is. And I wasn't going to do this, but if anybody here watches YMS, Adam, you're 100% wrong about this movie, and I'm not sure you even saw it because he claimed the movie was boring. And I think even if you didn't like this movie, you could never claim that this movie was boring.
Yeah, it's not boring.
So...
And what is it? It's the term, it's like Mary Sue, like she's not... This character is definitely... Is that what they mean? Like SJWs don't like it because the character's kind of not a Mary Sue?
Yeah, I think... Well, this is the thing. A lot of SJW characters are Mary Sues, but they're not... Because Mary Sues used to also be altruistic. And now a lot of Mary Sues, I think because maybe they're kind of like self-inserts and the people making them are terrible. They're also terrible people at the same time.
Well, isn't part of the definition that they don't really earn their status? So they're just kind of given to them. Like Rey doesn't even really study to be a good Jedi or anything.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're so perfect just in existence that they don't really have to strive to overcome anything or work to become better at whatever it is. Like, it's just already exists.
Yeah, they have no flaws and they excel at absolutely everything. Everything feels very unearned, like you're saying.
Yeah, because there are times, where Alita blames herself. Like, this was my fault. There's a lot of different emotional things going on, and she's definitely struggling. She's struggling emotionally where she fits in. She doesn't want to... I guess let her father figure down, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. She's just a person, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
She's just a good person, which I thought that's what, as creative people, that's what we try to do. We just try to create realistic characters that people can relate to. But I think the reason a lot of these Mary Sue type characters and Rey in particular are harder to relate to because they don't really have those flaws. There's nothing you can relate to.
You don't emphasize with them because they don't have any kind of... their struggles feel very external rather than internal. And, you don't really watch them grow. They just kind of excel at things. Alita, you really watch her grow through the journey, and it's a very interesting thing that I think I had kind of forgotten about because I haven't seen a movie like this in a while.
My favorite thing, though, it was a visual, it's kind of a throwaway, is when she punches that one character in the eye and she leaves a body part.
Yes.
It's so weird, but
it's awesome.
I really liked it. You know what? I just have to qualify. There's a lot of things that I absolutely love that the masses absolutely hate. So now that I'm thinking about it, I can see why maybe the masses don't like this. Because
awesome.
There is a lot of kind of strange things, but I think they're absolutely cool. Yeah.
But the strange things are what makes it loyal to the source material, because the source material is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's very true to the spirit in that way. It captures the tone, and if you've read it, the tone is kind of weird, and that's what's interesting about it. So it's all very... if somebody doesn't like this, odds are it's because they didn't like the source material either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect that Roper guy. I think he'd have the same criticisms about the manga or the anime if he saw it.
Yeah, it would translate to both. And I do think if these guys are going to, review these movies, I think they do need to do some research, and they do need to look into, what exactly they're reviewing. If it's based on a novel, I think they should read the novel. I think the movie should still work as a movie, that you don't have to, understand it because you read the novel. But I think if you're reviewing it, I think it would help, to have... So you wouldn't say silly things like, oh, the tone of it is ridiculous. Well, in Inception, the concept is kind of silly.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
What kind of tone do you expect with the story?
Exactly. Because then at best you could just say, it really, is in line with the tone of the original comic. That's all you could say as far as a review. Yeah. Then you can say, I didn't like the tone in either one of them.
Yeah, but then you understand why the tone was there.
Right. You understand that it's not just a bad movie. It's a movie that got its ideas from the source material. Yeah,
definitely.
Do we have anything else?
I'll read a couple of what you guys say, and then maybe we'll call it. Let's see. Rey has no flaws because Luke already messed up, and she has learned from watching him be a screw-up, says Draken. But she didn't watch Luke do it, because she never witnessed those events, really. Like, we as an audience witnessed those events, but...
Yeah, how much do you learn by somebody just telling you that they were an F-up?
Your parents can tell you stories about dumb things that they did as a kid, and you'll probably still do those things from just experiencing life.
Well, also, if you have... Okay, let's just say you have anger issues, right? And then you realize that one of your parents have anger issues. It still doesn't help you deal with the anger issues. You just realize that your mentor has anger issues, right? Like, it doesn't teach you to somehow learn how to deal with them and not freak out and go crazy. Right? Like with Rey, like she okay, well, he did these things.
Well, ValeNet brings up the best point and the best example by saying Rey can fly and fix the Falcon better than Han.
Yeah.
Like, where did she get that skill from?
Well, that's the Mary Sue aspects, right?
And I think that's perfect. Like, you can't use the excuse of like, well, she saw Han fly at one time. Like, that's not how life works. And Rey through this says, you're a wizard, Harry.
Even Harry kind of had a little bit of a struggle.
He did.
He was dealing with some stuff.
He messed up a lot along the way, and he wasn't even a part of the popular crowd or anything. Like,
yeah, he had some things he was dealing with.
And you can have as DeWolf says, it's Battle Angel, a triumphant good entity. They don't understand that. And that's the thing. She's a triumphant good entity, but she's not without flaws, and she had a struggle along the way. And that's why she's compelling, and you can actually relate to something as weird as like a robot girl.
Yeah, go see it.
Go see it.
Christoph Waltz was amazing. He was so good. Everybody in the movie was amazing. Yeah, there was that kid that played Hugo. Wow, man, he sold it all.
He should be on this poster as opposed to this girl in red.
Yeah, Lady in Red.
She was cool, but
Is this an official poster?
I think so, but like poster worthy. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Go see it. Support the movie.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Did we cover all of our tabs?
We did.
Okay.
Is there any parting words you want to give?
No. I think we have a Kiss Corner tomorrow, and thank you guys all for, well, thanks for the super chat today, and thanks for picking up the Oodles book and supporting the new in-demand store book.
And you can, of course, pick up Oodles on the link in the description, and you can get yourself a copy of Black and White. You can get both in a bundle if you haven't gotten them yet. Black and White will be available until we go to print, and Oodles is available now, so get on it. It's selling out quite quickly.
Yes, bundle up. I think we have one left in the Redhead bundle. Is that B? Is that the B bundle?
Yes, there's only one left in the print bundle B, so you can get those limited prints. Unless that one's sold out. If so, sorry. But there's 2 other bundles where you can get equally cool prints.
Yeah, and the prints are signed in number 2. So there's just going to be, that group of prints. So, yeah, we got a Kiss Corner. Do we have a time for Kiss Corner tomorrow, or are we still working on that?
I almost said 2, but I don't remember for sure. We'll be posting on social media. You can follow all of Art's social media in the links in the description, so that way you do not miss Kiss Corner tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope we didn't spoiler alert too much. It's a great movie. Go see it.